5:20 a.m. Waiting for my ride to get here. My friend Rhonda, who lives here in Gatlinburg, is coming to get me and going to shuttle me to the trailhead this morning, and also going to shuttle my truck to the end. So getting ready to go. It's about time to start. The sun is just cracking. You see the moon behind me. Hopefully it's going to be a good trip. Here we go. Thanks, Rhonda.
You're more than welcome. Don't be bare, babe. I love you.
All right, love you too. We'll see you later.
All right, buddy.
All right, bye. The trail starts out from Newfound Gap, going uphill, and I plan to take a stop over at Ice Water Springs shelter. So anticipate there'll probably be a crowd there getting up and fixing breakfast. So I'll check in a little bit later. Took a little side trail to the scenic overlook. Beautiful. As far as I know, this is the last reliable water source until I get to my shelter tonight. And that's a little over 6 miles from here. So I'm gonna drink a liter. May take 20 minutes sitting around drinking my liter of water. Take a little bit of a rest break. I'm still, I guess, kind of at Ice Water Spring Shelter. This is the water source for it. So I'm just going to hang out here for a minute. The climb up wasn't nearly as bad as I remembered it. And last time I did this was 19 years ago, and oddly enough, I'm in better shape now than I was then. And my pack at that time weighed exactly 1,000,005 pounds. And I'm significantly lighter now, so the climb up just was not that bad today. It just was really enjoyable. I never got out of breath and anything like that. So anyway, I'm going to take a break here. Take this water down. I was afraid there was going to be no view. Looks like it's going to clear just in time to get to Charlie's Bunyan. this is Bradley's view, or Bradley view. I think this is Bradley's preview. It's pretty. Unless I'm mistaken, the place where I am, the state line between Tennessee and North Carolina, straddles the crest of the Smokies here. So you can see big drop off on this side, the trail, and seriously, it's not more than maybe 4 feet wide, and then big drop off on that side into North Carolina. So I'm pretty sure I'm up on Laurel Top. I've been climbing for a while now, and it seems like I've kind of made it to the top and it's kind of leveled off, so maybe this is the top. I don't know. But it's about 11 o'clock. It seemed like a good time to stop and take a break, so I think I'm gonna have me a snack. If I stick around long enough, I might just go ahead and do lunch, because I don't have very far to go to get to Pecks Corner. Is that right? Pecks, yeah. And then try Corner tomorrow. Tomorrow's a really short day, so I'm really gonna be taking my time, but I do not have very far to go to get to the shelter for today, and it's kind of early in the day. Almost wish I had planned this differently. Well, it is what it is, and I'm in the Smokies, so I'm happy. So it really doesn't matter to me. So lunch today is a couple of tuna packets in olive oil, some smoked Gouda, and probably have a bar, either a Snickers bar or the, what's that other one? Reese's bar. Man, that Reese's bar is really good. All right, bon appetit. So here is a stunning view into North Carolina, and my hope is that this comes out good enough to do it some kind of justice, because this is fantastic. Just ridge after ridge after ridge. Bradley's view, what I was looking at before, maybe has a name. I'm gonna call it Bradley's preview. All right, so fortunately I just passed another hiker. I was kind of having this nagging feeling that I should already have made it to Pecks. But then, I kept reminding myself, no, you've stopped a bunch of times, and you stopped for lunch and stopped for pictures. I was at Charlie's Bunyan for the longest time, and kept thinking you can't have passed it. Well, so, but I do this stuff to myself all the time. I'm always second guessing, and did you miss it? And it's happened to me a couple of times, and so I know it can happen. But anyway, so I asked the other hiker, and she said, "Oh no, you're still at walking at her pace. You're still about 2.5 hours away." So this day, as it turns out, won't be so fast after all, because I was thinking I would be there the way things were going right after lunch. So I still have a ways to go. This right here is why I'm no further along than I am, and thought that I was closer to Pecks Corner shelter, is because of this. This is what's causing it. Doggone you, Smokies. I'm at the trail to go down to the shelter. It's nearly half a mile down here off the trail, so it's Of course, it's all downhill going to it, but tomorrow morning I'll have a half-mile climb coming out, so I'll deal with that in the morning. All right, so I've already eaten supper. I am at Pecks Corner shelter, and I didn't video supper and eating and all that because there's a group of 3 that's here, and then there's another guy that's solo. He's peak bagging 6,000 footers, and another couple just came in, and I didn't want to video and make them uncomfortable and put them in a video, so I didn't film it. But I had Mountain House lasagna. I have already hung my bag, got all the smellables in there, brushed my teeth. I could go lay down right now. I may go lay down, not with the intent to go to sleep because everybody's up and talking, which is fine. That's good. So just settling into kind of shelter life for the night. Oh, and I was going to set up my tent, but at this shelter there was nowhere that would I could set up a 2-person tent, let alone my Gossamer Gear, the 2, which has a pretty big footprint. There's just nowhere that I could put it that it would accommodate it. And I tried one time, but nowhere that it would accommodate it. So, all right, I'm gonna sign out for now and see you in the morning. Pecks Corner shelter is 4/10 of a mile off the AT, all downhill. So this morning starts with a climb. Forest in places just looks like something out of a fairy tale. All the moss and ferns, it's just so green. It's approaching noon on day 2. I've already stopped and had one snack, and good part of the morning I've been climbing, but I'm coming down now. I think I'm coming down Sequoia, and one more big climb for the day, and that'll be it. So it's going to be an early day. As I mentioned before, I've been trying to walk slowly. In fact, I told the group when we were leaving, I'm not hiking today. I'm sauntering. And so if you have a problem with someone sauntering on the trail, then you need to saunter your own saunter. Just got into, where am I? Tri-Corner Knob Shelter. I said I was hiking slowly. I was, and still got here right at 1 o'clock. And I'd say I'm the first one here, but there is some stuff here. There are a couple of packs hanging on the cables. Somebody has their hiking poles here, and I think I know whose those are. But anyway, the shelter has changed since last time I was here in 2001. The water source is really close. It's just right outside the shelter. The cables. And there's some tent places down there, and I passed a couple of good tent spots on the way in. So I may end up setting up a tent. Haven't made up my mind yet. Last night I just slept in the shelter because there were no good tent spots that would accommodate a two-person tent. So I think I may just sort of hold off and see how many come in. There were only 2 of us that slept in the shelter last night, and so we didn't have any trouble with it. So once I was at the shelter, I made a decision to try to tent tonight because I knew there were going to be more people. I didn't know how many more at the shelter, and I knew I didn't want to be in the shelter. There are no good tent options, especially for a 2-man tent. So I found a place that has a spot where you can sleep without being on an incline or rolling around and finding yourself in the corner of a tent, I think. But the pitch on it is pretty awful. It's pretty crappy because there are no good options for, like I said, for setting up a 2-man tent. As it turns out, counting myself, there are 16 people at the shelter tonight. So a lot of them are tenting and a lot of them are hammocking, but I still think there are going to be 5 or 6 people in the shelter. So I am really glad that I made a decision to set up the tent and get this spot, because I did not want to be in the shelter with that many people, just given all the circumstances. That wraps up day 2. It was a productive day, a good day, because I got to have kind of a slow day without very many miles, and I really enjoyed it. Also, tonight's dinner was beef stroganoff from Mountain House, and that's probably the best one they've got. I really enjoyed it. It is 6:20 a.m. on day 3, and got an early start this morning. We all talked about it last night. There's a bunch of us that are all going, sorry for the heavy breathing, going uphill. There were several of us going to Inadu Knob. I figure I've got about 30 minutes of walking in not darkness, but almost darkness. And then the sun will be up enough where I can kind of see what I'm doing. I'll check in a minute. I'm almost to the top of the first mountain. I've heard it pronounced 2 ways. I don't know which one is right. It's either Guyot or Gio, but apparently it's named after a Swiss cartographer, so I'm guessing Gio is probably right. Only one more climb to do, and I'm through with climbs for the day. Turned off my headlamp about half an hour ago. The sun has come up, and it's sunny, blue sky day. Great day to end the trip. I'm now going up the second up for the day, Old Black, and it is a little chilly and a little windy. So about 15 minutes ago, I passed a guy. He was coming up Snake Den Ridge Trail, and I commented to him that he was making it up to the ridge the hard way. because this trail is continuous uphill for it's 6 miles up. And I asked him if I was getting close to Cosby. And he said, no, not really. And I said, well, about how far? And he said, about 2 hours. Slipped on a rock coming down and busted my tail. I am no worse for the wear, but I'm about to stop and get me a drink of water and recollect myself and work on my injured pride. I made it to Cosby Campground just a little bit after 10 o'clock, and it has been a fantastic hike. I don't have enough superlatives in my language to say how wonderful of a trip this has been. The views, the weather, the trail, and can't deny the people that I met at the shelters. Just a great group of folks, and with some of the same folks both nights. So just a really good time. Thanks for coming along. Squidly's out.